Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, your mind racing with what ifs, worrying about things you cannot control? What if I told you that the very act of worrying is stealing blessings that are already on their way to you? Today, I will show you how to stop worrying about how and open your life to peace, faith, and unimaginable breakthroughs. Stay with me, because the moment you understand this, your life will never be the same again. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, your mind racing with what ifs, worrying about things you cannot control? What if I told you that the very act of worrying is stealing blessings that are already on their way to you? Today, I will show you how to stop worrying about how and open your life to peace, faith, and unimaginable breakthroughs. Stay with me, because the moment you understand this, your life will never be the same again. Friends, we often get trapped in the endless loop of how. How will I achieve my dreams? How will my problems be solved? How will I find the way? This worry is not just a thought, it is a chain that holds your mind hostage. But here's the truth. God, the universe, or the power greater than you, has already prepared the solution. Your only task is to trust. The first step is faith over fear. When you replace fear with faith, you stop asking how and start believing it will be done. Worrying about how your needs will be met is like doubting that the sun will rise tomorrow. It is unnecessary, and it blocks the light in your life. Second, focus on the present. The how lives in the future, a future that may never arrive exactly as you imagine. Your real power is here now. Every step you take today matters more than the anxiety about tomorrow. Action in the present opens doors that worry alone cannot. Third, embrace positive expectation and action. Stop worrying about how things will happen and start expecting them to happen. Align your thoughts, words, and actions with that expectation. When you do this, opportunities appear, doors open, and your path becomes clear. Remember, worry cannot create, but expectation and faith can. Friends, stop asking how and start believing in what will happen. Let go of anxiety, focus on what you can do now, and watch miracles unfold in ways you could never have imagined. Peace, joy, and success will no longer be distant dreams. They will become your reality. So today, release the burden of how. Step into faith, act in the present, and expect the extraordinary. Your how is already taken care of. Faith over fear is not just a concept, it is a lifestyle, a way of living that transforms the way you approach every challenge, every obstacle, and every moment of uncertainty. So often, people allow fear to control their lives, to dictate their decisions, and to limit their dreams. Fear whispers in our ears, "You will fail. You cannot do this. You are not ready. You don't have what it takes." And before we even realize it, we are paralyzed, stuck in a cycle of worry, asking constantly, "How will this happen? How will I get through this?" But faith has the power to break that cycle because faith sees what fear cannot see. Faith believes in possibilities, even when circumstances seem impossible. Faith trusts in a power beyond what the eyes can witness, a power that is already working behind the scenes on your behalf, even when you cannot see the path ahead. When you face a difficult situation, the natural human reaction is to panic, to calculate every possible way out, and to feel overwhelmed by the uncertainty of the future. Fear thrives in uncertainty because it feeds on our inability to control everything. But faith is the antidote. Faith is not blind optimism. It is the confident expectation that what is needed will come at the right time. It is a deep inner knowing that you are not alone in your struggles, that a higher plan is already in motion. This is why faith over fear is so powerful. It shifts your perspective from focusing on the problem to focusing on the solution, from doubting your abilities to trusting that you are equipped with everything you need to succeed. Imagine a seed buried in the dark soil. It has no idea when it will break through the surface, when it will feel the sunlight, or when it will become a tree. Yet it grows, inch by inch, day by day, because there is a life force within it driving it toward its destiny. That is how faith works within us. Even when we cannot see the outcome, even when the road ahead seems uncertain, faith allows us to continue growing, moving, and stepping forward, knowing that the right moment will come. Fear, on the other hand, is like the wind that uproots the seed before it has a chance to bloom. Fear makes us doubt our potential, doubt the timing of our lives, and doubt the very process of growth. Faith gives us the courage to endure, to trust the unseen, and to rise above the anxiety that fear tries to impose. Faith over fear is also about replacing the questions of how with statements of trust. Instead of asking endlessly, how will I get through this? How will I achieve this goal? How will my dreams come true? Faith encourages you to declare, I will get through this. My needs are already met. The path is already prepared for me. Every time you replace doubt with trust, you strengthen your ability to move forward without being weighed down by worry. You begin to understand that worrying about how things will happen does not add a single solution to your life. It only drains your energy, clouds your mind, and slows your progress. When we look at examples of people who achieved greatness, we see the undeniable role of faith over fear. These individuals were not exempt from fear, but what set them apart was their decision to trust the process despite uncertainty. They did not stop because they could not see the full path. Instead, they took one step at a time, trusting that the next step would be revealed when it was needed. Faith allows you to act even when conditions are not perfect, even when you do not have every resource or every answer. It is the inner confidence that the right solution will emerge at the right time, as long as you do your part faithfully. Faith over fear is not only about trusting in a higher power or a universal plan, it is also about trusting yourself. Many times, we allow fear to make us doubt our abilities, thinking we are too weak, too unprepared, or too ordinary to achieve extraordinary things. Faith changes this. Faith reminds us that we are capable, that we are resilient, and that we have been equipped with talents, strengths, and courage that will guide us through challenges. It is a daily decision to refuse fear's whispers and to choose belief in your own potential and in the support that surrounds you, whether it comes from people, opportunities, or unseen forces working in your favor. Another critical aspect of faith over fear is patience. Fear pushes us to demand instant results, to try to force outcomes before the timing is right. But faith understands that timing is as important as action. Faith waits without worry, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the perfect time. Fear does not wait. It panics, it rushes, it creates stress and anxiety, and often leads to mistakes and regrets. Faith allows you to walk steadily, even in the dark, confident that each step brings you closer to your goal, even if the destination is not yet visible. The power of faith over fear also lies in its ability to transform challenges into opportunities. When fear dominates, problems feel insurmountable and obstacles become permanent roadblocks. But when faith takes over, every challenge is seen as a chance to grow, to learn, and to discover strength you did not know you had. Faith does not deny difficulties. It simply equips you to face them with courage, resilience, and hope. When you approach life from a place of faith, fear loses its control because you are anchored not in circumstances, but in a deeper truth, that you are guided, protected, and capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. Faith over fear is ultimately a matter of perspective. Fear focuses on scarcity, limitation, and doubt, keeping you trapped in worry and anxiety. Faith focuses on abundance, possibility, and trust, opening your mind and heart to solutions that fear could never imagine. When you embrace faith, you stop asking constantly, how will this happen? And instead begin to act, to speak, and to think in alignment with the outcome you desire. You begin to live with expectation, not hesitation, with courage, not panic, with trust, not doubt. Every time fear tries to dominate your thoughts, remind yourself that worry will never create your breakthrough, but faith will. Every time the mind spirals into endless questions of how, take a deep breath and declare your trust in the process. Faith is not passive. It is an active choice to believe in possibilities, to move forward despite uncertainty, and to release control over things you cannot yet see. When you live in faith rather than fear, doors that seemed closed begin to open. Solutions appear that you never imagined, and peace replaces the anxiety that once consumed your mind. Faith over fear is a daily discipline, a continuous practice of trusting when you would rather worry, of acting when you would rather wait, and of believing when you would rather doubt. It transforms your mindset, your actions, and ultimately your life. It is the foundation for every other principle that allows you to live free from worry about how things will happen. When faith rules your heart, fear loses its grip, and you begin to see life from a higher perspective, where possibilities are endless, challenges are temporary, and blessings are already on their way to you. Focusing on the present is one of the most powerful tools we have to overcome worry and anxiety. So often, our minds drift into the future, imagining endless scenarios of what ifs and how will I ever manage this. We worry about things that have not yet happened, about challenges that might never appear, and about outcomes that are completely beyond our control. Yet the truth is that the present moment is the only place where real change can occur, the only place where action and transformation are possible. The future exists only in our imagination, and the past is already gone. What remains is this moment, right here, right now, and focusing on it can transform our lives in ways that constant worrying never can. When people worry about how their dreams will be achieved or how their problems will be solved, they often overlook the simple, powerful truth. The actions we take today shape the reality of tomorrow. Every second you spend worrying about what might happen is a second wasted, a moment of potential growth lost. The mind, when fixated on uncertainty, becomes paralyzed, unable to see the opportunities that exist right in front of you. Focusing on the present means anchoring your attention on what you can do now, no matter how small, and trusting that these actions will set the wheels in motion for the future. The present moment is where your power lies. The past cannot be changed, and the future cannot be predicted with certainty. But what you do right now has an immediate impact. It is the small steps, the decisions made in the here and now, that accumulate over time to create remarkable outcomes. When you focus on the present, worry begins to lose its grip because you are no longer preoccupied with events that are not yet in your control. You are fully engaged in the process of living, in the act of doing what you can, and in trusting that the results will follow. Many people underestimate the power of being fully present because it seems simple, almost too easy to be effective. Yet, it is in this simplicity that its strength lies. By paying attention to the current moment, by giving your full energy, mind, and heart to what is in front of you, you allow yourself to operate at your highest capacity. When you worry about how everything will work out, your mind is split, distracted, and scattered. When you focus on the present, your energy is concentrated, your actions are intentional, and your ability to influence outcomes grows exponentially. Living in the present does not mean ignoring the future. It does not mean that you stop planning, dreaming, or setting goals. On the contrary, living in the present gives you the clarity, focus, and energy needed to prepare for the future effectively. Worrying about the how of tomorrow often leads to overthinking, indecision, and missed opportunities. By contrast, focusing on what can be done today, what skills can be developed, what actions can be taken, what relationships can be strengthened, puts you in alignment with the future you desire. The future is shaped by your present actions, not by your fears. Consider a painter who wants to create a masterpiece. If the painter spends all their time worrying about whether the final painting will be accepted, admired, or successful, the brush will never touch the canvas. The masterpiece emerges not from the anxiety about the end result, but from the focus and dedication applied to every single stroke in the present moment. Similarly, your life unfolds one moment at a time, and every moment that you live intentionally, fully, and with purpose contributes to the larger picture that will eventually become your reality. Focusing on the present also has the power to reduce stress and bring peace. Worry is essentially a mental rehearsal of worst-case scenarios. When we imagine every possible way things could go wrong, we create tension, anxiety, and fear in our own minds. But when we redirect our attention to the present, we step out of the loop of imagined disasters and into the reality that exists before us. The problems we face today are often far fewer, far simpler, and far more manageable than the ones we create in our imagination. By dealing with what is real and tangible right now, we conserve our energy, strengthen our resolve, and cultivate a sense of calm and control. The present moment is also where gratitude resides. When we are focused on the how of tomorrow, we often overlook the blessings, opportunities, and resources available to us today. We fail to notice the people who support us, the skills we have already developed, and the progress we have already made. By paying attention to the present, we open our eyes to what is working in our lives, to the small wins that build momentum, and to the encouragement that exists around us. Gratitude, in turn, fuels action, reinforces positive thinking, and creates a fertile ground for growth and success. Another aspect of focusing on the present is mindfulness, the deliberate choice to observe your thoughts and actions without being consumed by them. Mindfulness allows you to notice when your mind drifts into worry and gently bring it back to what you can do now. It trains your brain to stay grounded, to respond to challenges with clarity rather than panic, and to use your energy productively rather than wasting it on imagined problems. Through mindfulness, focusing on the present becomes a habit, a natural state that reduces fear and strengthens faith in the process of life. Focusing on the present also allows you to maximize the opportunities that exist right now. Too often, we postpone action, thinking that we need perfect conditions or a fully formed plan to succeed. But the truth is that the present moment is full of opportunities if we are attentive, proactive, and willing to act. When we stop worrying about the how, we can see options we would have missed otherwise. Small actions taken consistently in the present accumulate over time, building momentum and opening doors that worry and hesitation would have kept closed. The present moment is where learning happens. When we worry about the future, we often fail to notice the lessons, insights, and guidance that are available in the here and now. Every challenge, interaction, and experience contains wisdom that can help us grow, adapt, and prepare for the next step. By focusing on the present, we not only take effective action, but also absorb the lessons that life is offering, equipping ourselves for future success in ways that constant worrying could never provide. Focusing on the present is a decision, a daily practice of anchoring your mind, heart, and energy in what is real, actionable, and meaningful. It is a way of refusing to be a hostage to uncertainty, refusing to let fear dictate your actions, and refusing to let imagined problems steal your peace. The present is where your influence is strongest, your creativity is brightest, and your potential is most accessible. By committing to this focus, you transform worry into productivity, anxiety into clarity, and fear into confidence. When you focus on the present, you also cultivate resilience. Challenges become manageable because you are not overwhelmed by the weight of the entire journey. You only confront what is immediately before you. One step at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time, you progress steadily toward your goals. The present allows you to take control of your life in the only way that is truly effective, by giving your best to the moment you are in, trusting that the next moment will reveal itself when the time is right. Positive expectation and action are the twin forces that turn dreams into reality and transform worry into progress. Too often, people get caught in the trap of waiting for the perfect conditions, of imagining all the obstacles, and of doubting whether their efforts will ever be enough. They ask, "How will this happen? How can I make it work?" And their minds fill with anxiety and hesitation. Positive expectation is the mindset that shifts this entire perspective. It is the belief that good things are possible, that outcomes can be favorable, and that your efforts will produce results, even when you cannot see the entire path ahead. When combined with deliberate, consistent action, positive expectation becomes a powerful engine that drives your life forward, dissolving the paralysis of worry and creating opportunities where none seem to exist. Expecting positive outcomes does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is not a blind, naive hope. Rather, it is a conscious decision to focus on possibilities rather than limitations, to anticipate success instead of failure, and to align your thoughts and energy with the outcomes you desire. When you expect positive results, you are more likely to recognize opportunities, solutions, and resources that would have gone unnoticed if your mind were clouded by doubt and fear. Expectation shapes perception. It trains you to see the potential in situations, to interpret setbacks as temporary and solvable, and to approach obstacles with creativity rather than defeat. Action is the second half of this principle. Positive expectation alone, without action, is like a seed that is never planted. It has potential, but it cannot grow. Action is the bridge between vision and reality, between hope and accomplishment. When you act, even in small ways, You reinforce your expectation with tangible steps. You signal to yourself and to the universe that you are serious, that you are committed, and that you are willing to participate in the unfolding of your desired outcome. Action converts energy into results. It is through deliberate effort, persistence, and focus that positive expectation becomes a living force in your life. The combination of expectation and action creates a cycle of momentum. When you expect good results, you are motivated to take action. When you take action, you build confidence and see progress, which reinforces your positive expectation. This cycle strengthens over time, creating a self-fulfilling process in which worry loses its power because you are actively participating in the solution rather than passively dwelling on the problem. It is this dynamic interplay that separates those who achieve their goals from those who remain stuck in fear and hesitation. Positive expectation also has a profound effect on your mental and emotional state. Worry drains energy, clouds judgment, and creates stress, while expectation fuels hope, clarity, and courage. When you expect good outcomes, your mind naturally shifts toward solutions rather than problems. You begin to think creatively, take calculated risks, and recognize opportunities that fear would have made invisible. The very act of expecting positive results changes how your brain functions, making it more alert, more proactive, and more capable of finding pathways to success. One of the most powerful aspects of positive expectation and action is that it transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Life is filled with challenges, delays, and unexpected twists. But when you expect positive outcomes, you view these obstacles as temporary and surmountable. You do not see failure as the end, but as feedback, information that guides your next step. Action ensures that you are moving forward, learning from mistakes, adjusting your approach, and gaining momentum despite setbacks. Expectation gives you the vision, and action gives you the energy to realize it. Together, they form an unstoppable force that moves you closer to your goals with each passing day. Expecting positive results also influences your interactions with others. When you approach people, situations, and opportunities with a mindset of expectation, you exude confidence, optimism, and determination. Others are naturally drawn to this energy, and support, guidance, and collaboration become more accessible. Expectation opens doors because it inspires belief, both within yourself and in those around you. Action reinforces this belief, showing that your words and intentions are matched by effort and commitment. This alignment of thought and action creates trust, credibility, and influence, all of which accelerate progress toward your goals. In addition, positive expectation and action create clarity. Worry clouds judgment and makes decision-making difficult, while expectation provides focus and direction. When you expect good outcomes, you know what you are aiming for, which allows you to prioritize actions that matter and avoid distractions that waste energy. Action becomes strategic and purposeful, guided by the vision of what is possible rather than the fear of what could go wrong. Every step you take is intentional, every decision aligned with your goals, and every effort contributes to the momentum that carries you forward. Another critical aspect is persistence. Positive expectation encourages you to keep going when the path is uncertain, when progress seems slow, or when challenges appear insurmountable. Action ensures that you do not remain stuck in hope alone, but continue to move forward, adapt, and improve. The combination of expecting success and acting consistently creates resilience, teaching you that obstacles are not the end of the journey, but part of the process. Each effort, each attempt, and each decision adds to your experience, bringing you closer to the outcome you envision. The principle of positive expectation and action also highlights the importance of mindset. Your thoughts are powerful. They shape your perception, influence your behavior, and determine how you respond to circumstances. When you cultivate positive expectation, you rewire your brain to focus on solutions, possibilities, and opportunities rather than fear, limitation, and doubt. Action reinforces this mindset, translating thought into behavior and intention into reality. Together, they create a synergy that magnifies your potential and aligns your life with the outcomes you desire. It is important to recognize that action does not have to be grandiose to be effective. Small, consistent steps taken with intention are far more powerful than sporadic, massive efforts made without direction. Positive expectation keeps you motivated and oriented toward the goal, while regular action ensures that progress is continuous. Each small step compounds over time, building confidence, skill, and momentum. What begins as a simple, seemingly insignificant effort can grow into a chain of results that transform your life beyond what worry and fear could ever achieve. Positive expectation and action also help you maintain faith in the unseen. Often worry arises because the results are not immediately visible, because the outcome seems distant or uncertain. Expectation allows you to trust that your efforts are not in vain, that what you sow today will bear fruit tomorrow. Action demonstrates that you are committed to this vision, creating a pattern of consistent effort that aligns with the reality you hope to achieve. This combination bridges the gap between uncertainty and confidence, between intention and realization. When you integrate expectation and action into your life, you also cultivate a sense of purpose. Every action becomes meaningful because it is directed by a vision of what is possible. Every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the unfolding of a greater plan. Worry fades because your focus is not on the obstacles, but on the possibilities. Your energy is not consumed by fear, but amplified by hope, determination, and the satisfaction of taking deliberate steps toward your goals. Positive expectation and action become not just strategies for success, but a way of living, an approach to life that empowers, motivates, and sustains you through any challenge.